Hello everyone, this is the Sports Spiral, and in today's video I am going to review week 7 of college football, and I'm going to preview week 8. Now week 7 had some good matchup. It was a pretty good week, but week 8, no ranked matchups, probably going to be some upsets, but I will get to that at the end of the video. So I'm just going to start off with all the week 7 games that I picked. I was pretty good. This week I was 11-5. My season record is 86-33, so I'm doing pretty good. Some upsets got me again, as they usually do. On Friday, Clemson won a close one versus Syracuse, 17-14. They are 4-2 somehow, even though they've had all these close games. They've lost 2. So yeah, Uiagalelei, the stat line was pretty good, 21 of 34 for 181 and a touchdown, but they really just put up 17 points in this one. So yeah, not good for Clemson's offense. Their defense has held well. Oregon survives a close one versus Cal, who's not a good team. Brown for Oregon, 20 of 28 for 244 and a touchdown. So a close one there for Oregon. It's kind of falling apart. They're still kind of in the playoff race. They have one loss, but they'll probably not be able to make it in. And then moving to Saturday, I believe, we had Cincinnati winning big over UCF. UCF with the coaching change with Gus Malzahn this season. They've looked good before. It's not the best stage for UCF. Cincinnati has been looking quite good this season. I'm hoping they can get in the playoff. I just want like an underdog story. So yeah, Ritter 13 of 23 for 140 and a touchdown. It's not great in that one, but he didn't throw all that much either. But a big win for Cincinnati. They're 56-21, putting up a lot of points in that one. Then Michigan State barely survived against Indiana, 20-15. So yeah, Michigan State, they've been sneaking along. They barely survived here. But yeah, they're 7-0. It'll probably be tough weeks ahead for them, but they've been doing good so far. And Indiana they are a shell of their former selves from last year, where they had some good games. And then next up, we had Oklahoma State getting it done versus Texas, 32-24. So Texas, really, it's been an up and down season for them. They looked like they could have pulled it off versus Oklahoma, but then they kind of collapsed. Oklahoma State, they're 6-0 so far. Might have not been the prettiest stuff. I think all of their games have been decided within 10 points or so. Yeah, roughly 15 points. All of their games at margin. So not too wide victories for Oklahoma State, but they are still undefeated in the Big 12. Then Auburn was able to beat Arkansas 38-23. I know I have 35 on there. That was a typo. It's 38-23, the final of this one. Bo Nix had a pretty good game, 21 of 26 for 292, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. So it seems that he's getting it together, but it's just too late for Auburn. They've been out of it this season. They might be 5-2, but I don't think they have any chance at like a top 15 finish in the rankings or anything like that. Arkansas had collapsed, and yeah, they were looking good at a point, but now they're really falling back. And then Florida won against LSU, and we know how this ended last year with the shoe throwing and all that stuff. There was always some action between this, no matter how good Florida is, no matter how bad or good either team is. It's going to be a close game. This game will never be a blowout. So LSU pulled off the upset, 49-42, Florida is out of the top 25. Yeah, I was expecting this. I picked Florida in this one, but I was expecting the upset because Florida, they don't tend to play well versus like conference play, those mediocre teams, the Kentuckys, the Missouris, the LSUs, the rivals, things like that. So yeah, a high-scoring affair in this one. Lots of points allowed from Florida's defense, so Todd Grantham may be on the hot seat. So the weird thing about this one, Ed Orgeron, the coach for LSU, was fired after this one, which I just think it's a really bad time to fire someone. But he is going to coach out the rest of the season. So yeah, I personally would have just seen how things would have finished out for LSU, like they have Ole Miss next week. If they beat Ole Miss, I'm keeping Coach Orgeron, I tell you that. Yeah, if you can beat two top 25 teams in a row, I would keep your coach. So yeah, just more action here. Another loss for Florida. They fall to 4-3. LSU is also 4-3. Anthony Richardson, he came in for Emory Jones, who was benched, and he went 10 of 19 for 167, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So the young player is still learning. Richardson, yeah, there's been talk about him transferring. We'll see if that it's the case. But for LSU, Johnson was pretty good, throwing 14 of 24 for 133, 3 touchdowns. And Florida's defense could not contain the running game, LSU's running game had been one of the worst in the country. But Davis Price ran all over them with 287 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, yeah, LSU, they fired their coach, Coach O, after this. Very weird. Watch out for some Florida coaching changes. Maybe at some point, I don't know if Todd Grantham's ready to get fired yet. Dan Mullen, I don't think he's gonna be ready to get fired yet, but I think his heat is warming up. We'll see how things go for the rest of the season for Florida and also LSU. Then next up, we have Texas A&M after beating Alabama. They had no problem against Missouri, winning 35-14. I'm not going to talk much more about that one. Then we had Georgia over Kentucky in a margin that I kind of predicted. I predicted like a 31-7. Georgia gets it done 30-13. So Georgia wins big as predicted with good defense. Offense got done too. Bennett was 14 of 20 for 250 and 3 touchdowns. So Georgia's looking like just they're the number one team, but they're still Georgia. They just have that really solid defense and a solid offense. They're not going to make too many mistakes, it looks like. So yeah, I've got Georgia won that one, and then a big upset here. Purdue over number 2 Iowa, 24-7. Petrus for Iowa threw 4 interceptions. So it's the offense. That's the thing. If your defense is too good, then your offense might not be the best. That was not a good performance from Iowa's offense. Their defense wasn't quite as good as usual either. So yeah, Iowa, it's probably out of the playoff race at this point, unless they play really well. And then next up is Baylor over BYU. I'm not going to talk much over about that one. 38-24 win there. Baylor was kind of expected to win that one. Alabama, they won big over Mississippi State after their loss. Maybe a little angry, but they were able to win by 40 points over Mississippi State. Oklahoma handled TCU. They started their other quarterback, not Rattler, and it paid off 52-31 in that one. Caleb Williams went 18 of 23 for 295 and 4 touchdowns. So Oklahoma's offense looks like they improved in that one. And then Ole Miss over Tennessee by 5 points. And yeah, this is another one you probably heard about. So Ole Miss, I think like Lane Kiffin, he used to coach at Tennessee, and now he comes into Tennessee and beats them 31-26. So yeah, that was a pretty good win for Ole Miss. They've been doing pretty well, but I don't think they're quite good enough to get into the playoff. They're like the tier below the playoff teams. So yeah, Ole Miss is a rapidly improving team, and Tennessee, it's actually been a pretty good season for them so far. But Lane Kiffin, I don't know, they're angry at him for winning the game and he left Tennessee or something like that. And now all the fans, and not all of the fans, like an amount of them, 100 of them, I don't know, just a section of them, they threw all kinds of stuff at Lane Kiffin. A golf ball, I don't know what actually hit him, but it was kind of ridiculous. See how this crazy stuff happens. He throws his visor into this, so I'm sure you have heard about this if you're into football, but yeah, one of those crazy things. There's just some rowdy people that just happens from time to time. But yeah, Ole Miss got done this one. They were 5-1 now with the win 31-26, and I don't know, they're looking pretty good. The one loss to Alabama on their schedule. They have LSU, Auburn, Liberty, Texas A&M, Vanderbilt, and Mississippi State. So some harder games, but nothing too difficult. If they win out, we'll see where they end up. That will be very interesting. Yeah, like the playoff, Georgia's a lock. Alabama's kind of a lock. I think they are personally. I think they'll win out. But like you still have a ton of different teams. Like we have no idea who really is gonna get in. And then NC State blew out Boston College 33-7. Easy win there. Leary went 16 of 24 for 251 and 3 touchdowns. So a big win for NC State. And then Utah was able to upset Arizona State 35-21. I'm not going to talk much more about these games. I'm going to get right into week 8, which is not the best. We have a lot of teams on bye weeks in this one. No ranked matchups, but there probably will be some chaos, as there always is. There's been a ton this season. It's almost like the team that's like the bad team. It's has a great chance of beating the good team. It's almost like better to be the underdog, so it's quite a crazy season. Cincinnati going against Navy. Cincinnati ranked second. We'll see if that holds up. But I do have Cincinnati in this one. Navy has not looked good, too good. So yeah, I've got Cincinnati. They're 41-17. Cincinnati's gonna need some magic if they want to get in the playoff. They're gonna need some teams to lose, and they're gonna need to play pretty well themselves. Oklahoma, they're using Williams now as the quarterback, so yeah, but he's been looking pretty good. Kansas has been in the dumps for quite a while now, so I've got Oklahoma big in this one, 59-7. And then Michigan, they've been doing pretty well. I think they're undefeated. We'll see if that holds up for Northwestern. I don't think it'll be a full-on blowout, but I think Michigan gets it done 34-17 over Northwestern. And then Penn State going against Illinois. I don't think they'll put up too many points here, but I've still got them 31-10. Lower scoring game there, but I've still got kind of one of those lower scoring blowout type games. And then Wake Forest, I've got them over Army 34-24. Wake Forest has been looking pretty good. Army's an okay team. So yeah, I do have Wake Forest there. Purdue, I've got them over Wisconsin after beating Iowa. Wisconsin is just not been able to get many things together this season, so I've got Purdue 23-16 there. And Oklahoma State, I think they will fall to Iowa State. That it's what the line is telling us. So yeah, I've got Iowa State there 31-27. Iowa State hasn't been their season, but I think they hand Oklahoma State their first loss. And then this game was supposed to be this straight 5 versus 9, 6 versus 11. It was supposed to be like a top 10 matchup early in the season, but now it's number 10 Oregon versus unranked UCLA after some losses and chaos in the Pac-12. I have Oregon here in a close one. This should still be a great game, just not as doesn't have big playoff implications. But I do have Oregon in a great game. This one, I think it's going to be 34-30 Oregon. And then Ole Miss going against LSU. LSU, they're a struggling team, although they did beat Florida. I think Ole Miss wins this one. It's not going to be by a ton. I have Ole Miss 37-27. And then Pitt, it's going against Clemson. Clemson, it's 2 losses. I think Pitt has 1 so far. So yeah, Pitt has been looking pretty good. We'll see how they finish out, but I've got Pitt in this one, 24-20 over Clemson. And then Alabama going against Tennessee. Tennessee has improved quite a bit this season. They've looked pretty good in some of their games, not so good in others, but I've got Alabama in a blowout here, 45-10. I also have Ohio State in a blowout over Indiana, 49-17. Ohio State's offense has been looking really good. Notre Dame going against USC. USC, they started out looking good in some parts, and then they faded like a lot of Pac-12 teams did. And like literally everybody started out good and faded in college football. So I've got Notre Dame there 34-24. And then Texas A&M going against a struggling South Carolina team. I've got Texas A&M there 41-10. NC State going against a disappointing Miami team. I've got NC State 31-24. So yeah, that will do it for this video. Please make sure to subscribe and like. And this is the Sports Spiral. Bye.